breathing huge sighs of relief because now they're off the hook for a while. Preet Bharara, let me tell you, Preet Bharara, his name was whispered in the halls of government at every level. No one wanted to invoke Preet's name because if Preet would have come around, you're reaping the whirlwind. Very few politicians survive an investigation by Preet Bharara. And if you're being under investigation by Preet, automatically the inference is Preet's got the goods on you or will get the goods on you. Preet's office just got done with a 3 or 4 hour deposition of Bill de Blasio. Now Bill de Blasio can breathe a sigh of relief thinking that there's going to be chaos in this office for a while. He can run for office again in his re-election bid and probably skate his way to re-election. Andrew Cuomo, the same thing. Andrew Cuomo is basically rolling out a possible 2020 bid for president. Do you think he'd be doing that if the investigation by Preet Bharara was still ongoing in the manner it has been in the past year? For those of you who haven't been following, there was a gentleman, Mr. Percoco, who was already arrested. One of Andrew Cuomo's inner circle has already been arrested by Preet's office. And who knows what information Preet and his office got from that and was planning on doing in the coming months and years. So those two very powerful men who happen to be on opposite sides of their own party, really, they're breathing huge sighs of relief. And they are so happy to see Preet gone right now. I guarantee you that. Folks, this is not a great decision by the Trump administration. It's just not there. I just don't see how this could be a good thing to put someone this powerful with this much of a track record, just put them out there into a partisan love-in, really, and to create, again, a Democrat martyr. Now, I know that there are some conservatives out there. I've been arguing with people all over social media. In fact, my tweet about Preet Bharara and his being fired, it's gotten 130,000 impressions on Twitter. It's the most widely read tweet I've ever done in my life. And basically it said that Preet Bharara deserved better than what he got. And I truly believe that. But there are some conservatives out there that will defend Donald Trump. Again, this cult of personality that will defend him no matter what he does. And, there are some reasoned arguments out there. And one of them was that, Preet Bharara was no friend to conservatives. And they cite his subpoenaing Reason.com to get information on certain commenters of an article on that site. And the reason why these subpoenas went out, if you look at the article, if you look at why it was done, is because some commenters on there were making death threats towards a federal judge. Now, whether or not they were true threats or not is irrelevant to me. If that's happening, a U.S. attorney should investigate that to see if those threats are credible, to see exactly what the deal is. And he went after all those commenters to get the information. I don't think that's an abuse of prosecutorial discretion. I don't think that's Preet Bharara going after conservatives. I think that's him investigating as he should. So conservatives out there have got to grow up when it comes to defending Donald Trump. Defend him when it merits defending. There are tons of issues out there where you can defend the president. But let's also call him out when he has to be called out. Otherwise, we're no better than the Democrats with President Obama and creating a cult of personality where a person can do no wrong because of who they are, not exactly because of what they do. Again, I really feel the Trump administration missed the boat on this one, and they may live to regret it a year down the line. In fact, mark this tape, folks. I'm saying it right now. I think President Trump is going to rue the day that he let Preet Bharara go from the U.S. Attorney's office here in the People's Republic of New York City. All right, enough of me blabbing. When we come back, we're going to have my good friend John Preston on the show talking about his newest release, and then we're going to play a song called Superman Falls, in which John will explain the meaning behind it. And, folks, if this doesn't impact you right in the heart, right in the guts, man, then I question whether you have a heart at all. Gene Berardelli behind enemy lines. We'll be back right after these brief words. If you're a long-time listener of the show, or maybe this is your first time listening, you can probably tell that me and the gang here, we like to have our share of fun, whether it's on or off the air. We talk about 2-drink minimum radio and no medication Wednesdays or whatever day it may be. That's why when we found the people at Less Government, More Fun, we knew it was a match made in heaven with this show. Folks, we live in a time where government is out of hand. Our founding fathers did not intend government to be all-consuming in all parts of our lives. That's why we are telling you to go to lessgovmorefun.com. Check out the website. Check out the swag. What the people want is less government, more fun. Pass it on. Make it happen.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Behind Enemy Lines Radio is all about being right. No, seriously, it is. If you ever listen to Russ Gallo or me go back and forth on some issue, we always want to make sure that we remember who said what and when we said it. That's why we go to goonrecord.com. It's a brand new social media website. Challenge people on what they believe, whether it's in politics, sports, entertainment, finance, whatever. There's a category for you at goonrecord.com. Check it out right now. Tell us, what do you stand for? It's time for you to go on record. Behind Enemy Lines. Back on the air. Gene Baradelli, back behind Enemy Lines. Joining me on the line right now. Always a pleasure to welcome back to the show. A good friend. We've had him on. Not only a very talented, entertaining gentleman, but someone who has served our country. Active duty Marine. And just overall, one of the best people I've ever interviewed on the show, and a pleasure to welcome him back. John Preston. John, thanks for coming back on, man.
How are you?
Things are great, man. I'm glad to have you back on. I'm excited to talk to you, not only because of the project that we're going to be talking about that is been recently released, and I guess the rollout is continuing, but also we haven't really talked since we talked before the election. We talked a little bit during the campaign period, but now here we are in the era of Donald Trump, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that first and fourmost.
I'm happy to see it happen. Honestly, I am pro-Republican regardless of which way it went, and honestly, I think this is a dude that's going to do what he says, and he's already starting to prove that. So it's exciting to see him in there. It's exciting to see General Mattis in there. So I'm pretty stoked about what we have ahead for the next 4 years. If everyone gives him a chance, I think he's gonna, take care of business.
I'd like to think so. I mean, there's some news that's personally disappointed me thus far, but all in all, and taking the good with the bad, I'm hopeful. And I think that's the word that I'm hearing a lot of people, that they're hopeful that things are going to be okay. Now, of course, you still have contacts with your fellow brothers in arms. What have you been hearing from them about how they feel about the new era of Donald Trump?
It's a positive reaction. That's the thing, is they have someone now that is showing right away that he cares about his military, from going to visit the family of the fallen Navy SEAL unannounced, not making a media issue out of it. If you remember, the Obama administration didn't even go to Chris Kyle's funeral, who's one of our biggest heroes ever in this country, while at that same time the Bush administration had them in box seats at the Dallas Stadium, completely catered and taken care of. It's a different feel for the actual care, and there's a lot of things happening on the other side of the world that a lot of us are fed up with. We lost our war. Our war was given away. There's an enemy there that needs to be destroyed, and now I have a feeling that's going to happen pretty quickly.
It definitely feels that way. I mean, when you see it before a joint session of Congress, he actually says radical Islamic terrorism. You feel like, okay, now we have a president that gets it. I definitely feel that way for sure. And
the comedy in that, I believe he was actually told not to say it.
Right.
Like, he was actually warned, don't say that. And he came out and said it. And that's what I love about the guy is all of us here that have been there, especially, we know what it is. It's madness. It's such a madness of just ideology idiocy, you know, and we know what it is. And there's nothing wrong with saying exactly that. And I'm proud that our president did.
Absolutely. And the other thing I guess we have to talk about for you personally is not only this project, but you're now with Pacific Records, which is pretty cool. I think last time we spoke, there was maybe happening, could have been happening, but now you're there with a label and everything. That's got to feel like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, it's nice. You know, it's definitely beyond even just them. We've built a huge team, man. We have a ton of people that are getting behind us from a lot of different organizations, from big companies. Anyone from Facebook.com right now to we're talking to really big companies, and we're looking at even bigger things to happen along with this release that are still the wheels are spinning. I'm super excited, but it's been a ton of work too. You know, I've been grinding. I executive produced the album that's coming out on the 17th, and I haven't stopped. I'll get off the phone with you. It's a Saturday, and I'm going to have 2 or 3 more phone calls back to back off of yours, and I already had 2 this morning. It's just that pace has to be kept. But I'm excited that we're getting these releases, and I've known the guys at Pacific for a long time, so they've really been to what I need, and I always ask for a lot because I plan on moving the earth with what I'm doing.
Yeah, and let me tell you, man, it is so gratifying to see your success. I remember when, Your War Is Over came out, and it really started a deeper conversation about issues with veterans, but it also, kind of introduced you to the world, and now, this guy from Kentucky is he's got a team now, like you said. You have a force behind you, and it's got to feel really gratifying, the response and the momentum that's been built.
Yeah, it does, man. It does. Looking back, I mean, what I've gone through to get here isn't really what I want, but everything is growth. Everything that I do is growth, and I've realized, regardless of the team that I have behind me, that I still have to work as hard. I still have to keep pushing and keep driving. I did a entrepreneur podcast the other day, and it's amazing how online that is. You think of artists as just musicians, and they go and they play music, and it's not that at all. We have to be out constantly talking about and selling our product, and for me, God blessing, this product is my heart. It's everything in my life. It's devastated my own life, and for me, I can't help but drive. I can't help but push, and it's really made a difference.
Well, and let's make it clear to the audience that may not know your backstory. It's been a long road to get here for you, and especially after all that you suffered in the effects of war and being overseas. Well, just very briefly explain to everybody the road that it took to get here. I know that's like a loaded question. We can do a whole show on it, but
right.
Give everybody just
2 hours on that. But
give the elevator speech for that.
Summarize.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell them that road.
Okay, yeah. So basically, probably September of 2014, I started this back. I released my first single, This Is War, and it gave us an opportunity to do something I never expected I could do in life again, because I played music in 2004, was very successful, and had no idea I was going to go back after this. I attacked the public with veterans with post-traumatic stress and with veteran suicide. Your War Is Over was completely about that. And every time I've had a media appearance, I always talked about veteran suicide. I always talked about post-traumatic stress, and I've always been very aggressive at getting that out to the public. I started before the 22 existed, and I was making noise. That has been my plan since the very beginning. I am a veteran with post-traumatic stress. I do deal with it. I have fought it. I want to show the world that it's possible to move forward from it. January of last year, kind of I don't know what you call it. You call it a kick in the ass, kick in the nuts, whatever you want to say. It hurt.